Coming up on iPads in the Classroom, we're talking about language arts and some new apps from the History Channel. Hi, I'm Guy Trainin, and this is iPads in the Classroom from TechEdge. And today we're going to talk about a few apps in language arts, and then I want to talk about a few from the History Channel that allow you to do some social studies work. So let's start with language arts. The first one that I want to talk about is called WordMover. And what you do in WordMover is, in this case, we need to create a new user, and let's enter my name. And now we have a user, so you can have actually on the same iPad multiple users. So if you have one iPad for the classroom, you can still use it. And now I'm choosing my name. And what you do next is you can either go to WordBank, to your own words, or you can go to famous speeches or pieces of literature, in this case, the Gettysburg Address. So here is a word bank based on the words from the Gettysburg Address, and what you can do with it, or what your students can do with it, is create their own poetry. So this is very similar to poetry magnets. You just take the words and you put them together to form what potentially can become poetry: the 7 years, fathers brought, etc. So you can create poetry with these words. You can see that you can change a few neat features. One is you can change the background, so you can use different backgrounds for your poetry. You can also share the poetry, and you can send it as an email, you can save it to photos, or you can send it to printer, and it prints with that background. And then you have a collection of your poems. In this case, we have only one, so you can do that. And if we go back, what's important is you can add words to existing banks, or you can add your own words. So to add a word, you just press that plus and you write the word. Let's say tanning. And here you have that word. So you can create your own word bank. I'm excited about this, not as much because of what it does, because we have similar programs out there, but because it is this initial foray of an organization into the app world to produce something that students can actually use. And that is really, really exciting. So this is called WordMover. The second one, and this is becoming more and more common, and I've pointed to this before, is if you are going as a teacher or as a university student or whatever have you, and you're going to a conference, most conferences now have apps that are designed for that specific for that specific conference. And as a result, what we have is we have the ability to, instead of carrying those books around, to have it all on our phone or on our tablet. And this is this year's annual conference, the CTE Conference. You can see in this app, first of all, this is one of the better ones I've seen, and I think they're getting better as people are figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So you have what sessions there are, what you've selected in your own plan. It's called My Show. You have a list of speakers. And so these are the people who are featured in the program and that you might want to catch as you go through. There's general information about the city. In this case, it's Las Vegas. The last app that I want to talk about in language arts is a game, and it's called Letterpress. And in Letterpress, what you do is you actually have to make words. And so you can start a game, and what you do is you make words with as many letters as you want, and they don't have to be in a specific order. So here you get a jumble of letters, and you can make a word. Let's say, I'm making a simple word, okay? And the minute you submit, those turn your color, and you've got another person on the other side, and it can be somebody who's a friend, so somebody that you know, or it could be a random player. And here the person on the other side played, and they played the word thongs. Okay, I guess that's okay. So it's a great game. It's called WordPress, and you can actually set it up to work in your classroom if you have multiple devices, or as a recommendation for kids for out-of-school activities. The next two apps I want to talk about are from the History Channel. And this is part of my excitement about the History Channel in the last year or so, going back to its root, actually talking about history and not just reality shows. I mean, I like the reality shows. Obviously, it sells rather well. But when we talk about kids and social studies and getting excited about different periods in history and being able to picture them, I love what they've done. And the first one is called Think Fast. And in Think Fast, you're supposed to respond to different questions about history. Again, what you can see here in the people who support this is the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, but also Thinkfinity, so Verizon again supporting some innovation in this area. And this is available online.
If you want to find the dog, you'll have to pass my test. If you answer a question correctly, I'll help you move closer to where he is. But if you get an answer wrong, you'll get no help.
So you're supposed to help the dog be able to find something, and you do that by answering questions, in this case about the American Revolution, rather quickly. So the question shows up here, we answer here, and you get a response whether it's right or wrong. It doesn't give you a second option, so if you're wrong you can read the feedback, but you have to move on. The second aspect of this, of course, is that there is a timer, so you go to another question.
Get this one right.
And I was wrong again, and of course you have to actually read the questions to get it correctly. What I like about this app is it's very nice visually, and the questions are somewhat interesting because they're not just plain historical facts that you learn in school, you know, who was Paul Revere and that kind of thing, although that exists as well. But there are actually also questions about everyday life in colonial times, so it adds a layer that we sometimes ignore or don't do as well with. The other thing that's very good about it is that it has a lot of audio feedback, so there's music in the background, and there's interactivity that is based on the voice of the narrator for the app. The last app that I want to talk about is the app from the History Channel, and this is called Bet You Didn't Know. And Bet You Didn't Know in this case is all about the new show about human history, and it has clear directions about how to make it work. And one of the nice features about this one, and this is about mankind, one of the nice features is you can just shake the whole device to get new questions and answers, and on the other hand you can just flip through. It's built like a kind of a card flip, so you have different categories. Let's say we choose the category of transportation. Come on. Okay, and then we can look at different questions. So this is a question in society, or more to the point, at that fact. And you can look through and see different pieces from different time points. So portraits of animals make up nearly all known examples of prehistoric cave art. The horses are found in roughly 1 out of every 3 paintings. I didn't know that. So this is called Bet You Didn't Know. It's mostly about factoids. If you've got kids that are really excited about facts from history and knowing little tidbits, this is a really good companion to the show that obviously has a much more detailed narrative that organizes all of that in sequence. So today we talked about some language arts apps and some social studies apps, and we will see you next time on iPads in the Classroom.